In the heart of the Namib, the oldest desert on Earth, where dunes stand like frozen amber waves and the air shimmers with a heat that whispers of thirst, a drama unfolds each dawn that defies the very logic of its stage. This is the domain of Arenivora, the dune ant. For them, the towering mountain of sand is not a barren tomb, but a living geography. They are miners of moisture, navigating a world where the map is redrawn by the wind each night. At first light, a forager ascends the slipface, a steep slope of granules, each a tiny mirror reflecting the coming fury of the sun. She is not searching for seeds or other insects. She is an engineer reading a hydrological chart written in temperature. She seeks the precise depth, perhaps just 5 inches down, where the cool kiss of the night has condensed the scant Atlantic sea fog onto the sand grains. Here, she digs a pit, a well. She will harvest this microscopic dew, storing it in her social stomach, a living canteen for the colony below. Her geography is one of gradients, of temperature, of particle size, of humidity, a map invisible to all but the desperate. The dune is not a wasteland, it is a sponge, and she knows exactly how to wring it. Far to the north, where the sky presses down on a sea of grass in the Serengeti, a different kind of cartographer is at work. The termite macroderms does not navigate geography, it manufactures it. From a distance, their mounds appear as mere jagged anthills, strange tombstones on the plain. But inside is a metropolis governed by climate. The mound is a colossal lung, a single organism built from earth and saliva. Its architecture is a masterclass in passive ventilation. The colony's fungus gardens, its food source, require a constant, precise temperature and humidity. So, the termites build a central chimney rising from the nest's hot, metabolizing core. This chimney connects to a network of thin, fluted walls on the mound's surface. The sun heats the air in these surface ridges, causing it to rise. This draws the stale, Colorado-rich air up from the depths below. Fresh, oxygenated air is then pulled in through openings at the mound's base. The termite is an unsung meteorologist, building a skyscraper that breathes, ensuring the internal weather of its city remains perpetually spring, while the external world cycles through drought and deluge. Their geography is not found, but forged, a climate-controlled fortress in the savanna. But the animal architects are not confined to land. Venture into the frigid, clear waters of the Pacific Northwest, where the kelp forests sway in a slow, underwater ballet. Here, the humble sea otter is a keystone geographer. It does not build permanent structures, but its daily life maintains the very shape and texture of the coastline. Otters feast on sea urchins. Left unchecked, these spiny herbivores become an army of deforestation, mowing down entire kelp forests, leaving behind barren, urchin barrens, rocky deserts in the water. The otter's hunting ground is a garden it tends with its teeth. Where the otters thrive, the kelp thrives. These towering algae create a dampening effect on wave energy, reducing coastal erosion. They provide nursery grounds for fish, sequester carbon, and create a complex, three-dimensional city for countless species. The otter, through the simple act of survival, draws the line between a lush, protected underwater forest and a skeletal, eroded coastline. Its geography is one of consequence, a living bulwark against ecological collapse. Yet, perhaps the most profound and ancient animal geographers work not in sand, soil, or forest, but in the very fabric of the earth itself. On the vast, frozen tundra of Siberia and North America, the lowly muskrat, and its colossal cousin, the beaver, are the original landscape engineers. A beaver does not see a stream, it sees a potential reservoir. With an instinct honed over millennia, it fells trees, dredges mud, and builds dams. The still pond that forms behind the lodge is not just a home, it is an agent of transformation. It slows the water's flow, trapping sediment and creating rich, waterlogged meadows. It raises the water table, recharging aquifers. It cools the local climate by providing vast surfaces for evaporation. In the Arctic, the ponds created by ecosystem engineers, like muskrats and beavers, are now understood to be ticking time bombs, or archives of the past. As the permafrost thaws, these ponds expose ancient organic matter to decomposition, releasing methane, a potent greenhouse gas. But they also preserve it in the anoxic water. The animal, in its quest for shelter, becomes a curator of the planet's ancient carbon, its simple actions having global climatic ramifications centuries later. This interconnectedness of animal geography reaches a fever pitch in the great aerial migrations. Consider the Arctic tern, a creature of endless summer, tracing a pole-to-pole pathway etched into its genes. It experiences more daylight than any other being, a geographic fact written into its life cycle. Or the monarch butterfly, embarking on a multi-generational pilgrimage from the fir forests of Mexico to the milkweed fields of Canada and back. No single butterfly completes the round trip. Instead, the route is a fragile, living heirloom, passed down through instinct and the very position of the sun. Their geography is not of place, but of path, a ribbon of life stretched across continents, connecting ecosystems, pollinating plants, and feeding predators. They draw lines in the sky that stitch the hemispheres together. The story turns darker, however, when we witness the accidental geographers, the unwitting reshapers. The shipworm, a clam that bores into wood, once terrorized the navies of the world, literally changing the course of history by disintegrating fleets. Today, the global movement of species by humans, like the cane toad in Australia or the lionfish in the Caribbean, creates brutal, new geographies. The toad advances like a toxic front, redrawing the map of native predator populations. The lionfish, a flamboyant invader, strips reefs of their juvenile fish, creating zones of emptiness in the colorful coral cities. These are geographies of upheaval, born from our own restless movement. Yet, hope persists in the most unexpected corners. In the rewilding projects of Europe, the reintroduction of a single keystone species can restart ancient geographic processes. The return of the wolf to Yellowstone National Park is the classic testament. By preying on elk, the wolves changed the elk's behavior. The elk stopped over-browsing willow and aspen saplings along riverbanks. The trees regrew, their roots stabilizing the banks, narrowing the streams, and creating cooler pools for fish. Beavers returned, attracted by the willows, and built dams that further sculpted the wetland landscape. Songbirds flourished in the new forests. The wolves, apex cartographers, triggered a trophic cascade that literally reshaped the rivers and valleys of the park. They restored an old geography that had been missing. Our journey concludes not with a grand vista, but in the hidden, bustling micro-geographies beneath our feet. In a single gram of fertile soil, a universe exists. The earthworm is a subterranean plow, aerating the soil, creating tunnels that become highways for water and roots, mixing layers and enriching the earth with its castings. Its life is a constant, slow recreation of the foundation upon which all terrestrial life stands. It builds the ground we walk on, particle by particle. This is the uncharted truth of our world. We see mountains, rivers, deserts, and forests as the stage. But the stage is alive. It is being constantly surveyed, excavated, terraformed, and maintained by its inhabitants. The animals are not just living in geography, they are writing it, with tooth and claw, instinct and labor. The termites' mound, the beaver's pond, the otter's forest, the wolf's river, these are not mere features in the landscape. They are arguments, declarations of life against inertia. They tell a story of a planet that is not a passive rock, but a living, breathing canvas being painted and repainted by countless unseen artists. The next time you look at a windswept dune, a strange earthen spire on the savanna, or a still woodland pond, remember, you are not just looking at a place. You are looking at a story. A story of survival written in architecture, of climate control carved from mud, of empires built on hunger, and of continents connected by fragile wings. The true map of our world is not made of ink and paper. It is written in the silent, relentless, and breathtaking work of its creatures. This is the animal geography. And it is the most magnificent story ever told. Video ends with a slow, sweeping shot of a thriving coral reef, teeming with life, before fading to black.